I want to welcome all of you, Chancellor Merkel and your cabinet. This importance and strength of our relations, the fact that we have these annual meetings with such content. We meet through turbulent times. Chancellor Merkel, my dear friend Anger, it's a pleasure to welcome you and your delegation to Israel. We had a very enjoyable and productive dinner last night in which we covered a breadth of issues, maybe the most important issues that relate to Israel's security interests and our quest for peace. And I appreciate your understanding and your consideration. And we had today an exceptional meeting of our two governments. Exceptional because, first of all, we stuck to the schedule. We were on time. Second, we stuck to the agenda, and I think a lot of areas were covered, and we can learn a great deal from each other. I must say that I learned quite a few things, including how to cut bureaucracy and streamline regulation. This is a revelation for me, so we intend to deepen these exchanges because this is part of our common policies. So I extend a warm welcome to you and your entire generation. The goal of these annual meetings is to do precisely what I just described, how to bring an already close and strong relations to even higher levels of closeness and strength. And I think your visit here, accompanied here by virtually all of your cabinet, is a demonstration of the strength and warmth of Israeli-German relations. It's deeply appreciated. And I deeply appreciate your personal friendship. I said that we had discussed last night critical issues on our agenda. And today we actually expanded on that, on international development in third countries, primarily in Africa, on trade and commerce, on defense and security. And again, I think that Germany has, under your leadership, and traditionally, but especially under your leadership, has had a clear commitment to the security of the Jewish state, which we all appreciate. We discussed energy and environmental protection, education and youth exchanges, scientific and technological research, and all these areas and in many more, we're working closely together. I believe that we also seek something that changes our world. How to have a stable Middle East is something that is perhaps beyond the compass of our two countries, but how to try to get a workable peace between us and our Palestinian neighbors, this is something that we're both seeking to achieve. And I believe that there's a simple formula for that. It's two states for two peoples, a demilitarized Palestinian state that recognizes the Jewish state. And I want to thank you for making clear that the Palestinians who ask us to recognize a Palestinian state have to reciprocate by recognizing the Jewish state. Because without Palestinian recognition of Israel as the nation state of the Jewish people, there can be no real reconciliation. Because the conflict cannot end without the Palestinians basically giving up all national claims to the Jewish state. This is the idea of the two nation states. They have a nation state for the Palestinian people. We have a nation state for the Jewish people, and there are no more claims. I think that peace must also be based on ironclad security arrangements that enable Israel to safeguard the peace and protect Israel for any contingency. Because in this volatile part of the world, and we see how volatile it is, there can be no real peace without security. I know that there are those in Europe who have been calling on a boycott for Israel. So I want to be very clear. There can be criticism of Israel. That's legitimate. But it's hard not to notice the fact that those who call for boycotting Israel are not calling for the boycott of any other country. They boycott only Israel. They blame only the Jewish state. And singling out Israel, the one democracy, the one true democracy in the whole Middle East, is neither moral or correct, and I may say, or productive, because actually these boycotts push back peace. They only serve to strengthen Palestinian intransigence. They also don't help the Palestinian economy. There are 30,000 Palestinian workers who work in the settlements and the Jewish communities, and their economy would be hard hit. But the most important thing is, I think that we're working to resolve, through negotiations, a very complex conflict. We hope to make progress on it. Boycotts is not the moral or productive way to move peace forward. It actually pushes peace back. So I hope that others in Europe follow your lead, Angela, in rejecting boycotts and going for the support of Secretary Kerry's effort to advance a workable peace between Israel and the Palestinians. I've been working very closely with John Kerry, and I'm ready for a historic agreement that ends the conflict between Israel and our Palestinian neighbors once and for all. I can only express my hope that President Abbas is equally willing to end the conflict once and for all, and of course, this will be seen in the coming weeks and months. On the Iranian issue, despite the soothing words of President Rouhani, we see that Iran has not changed its behavior at all. Iran continues to oppress its people inside Iran. They execute hundreds of innocent people in the city squares. They actually hang them from cranes. And Iran continues to be on the ground in Syria, propping up the Assad regime, financing its murderous activities, giving them arms, giving them weapons, giving them fighters and commanders. This is continuing every day. As we speak, it's happening right now. Iran continues to perpetrate terrorism directly or through its proxy Hezbollah in Europe and around the world. And Iran continues its relentless pursuit of nuclear weapons. They continue to do so while developing the means to deliver those weapons. They're developing long-range ICBMs. And I want to say, they're not directed against us. They already have the missiles to reach us. Those ICBMs are intended for Europe. They're intended for you. They're intended for the United States. And they have only one payload. That's a nuclear payload. And of course, Iran continues to call for the annihilation of the Jewish state. Last week, the P5+1 started negotiations with Iran on a final deal. I think that the most crucial thing is to define the goal. The goal of these negotiations is to prevent Iran from having the capability to manufacture and deliver nuclear weapons. Because if Iran maintains that capability, then make no mistake about it, it will use those weapons. And we know that we cannot have a world in which fanatic regimes, irresponsible regimes, have atomic bombs. We understand already what is happening in one part of the world, in Asia, with such a regime having such weapons. And we cannot afford to have that replicated by a regime that I say is the equivalent of 50 North Koreas, having weapons that could threaten not merely the security of Israel and the security of Germany, but the security of the entire world. The goal is to prevent Iran from having the capability to manufacture and deliver nuclear weapons. I believe that means zero enrichment, zero centrifuges, zero plutonium, and of course an end to ICBM development. Because none of these elements, none of them is necessary for developing civilian nuclear energy, which is what Iran is claiming that it wants. I know, Angela, that you're concerned with this issue. We understand what this would mean for the world. I think it will also mean that if Iran gets away with this, then this will spark waves of proliferation, nuclear proliferation in the Middle East. Other countries would seek to nuclearize, and of course that may have an effect around the world. I find that when we speak about this, there is a common desire to see a peaceful, secure, and stable world, but also a common desire to see Israel and Germany working together to achieve a better world, both in our region and at large. I think our ties provide an example of how, despite the horrors of the past that we can never forget, we strive for, our two peoples strive to transform our relationship into a unique and constructive friendship. And I think that the example of Israel and Germany offers hope for the entire world. It shows how we can transform history and make the world a better place to live in. Better, and I have to say, safer and more prosperous. We're certainly doing that in our own relationship, working in many, many levels and many, many fields. And I want to express again my thanks for this unique cooperation and for your unique leadership. Thank you, Angela, and welcome to Jerusalem.
Ja, danke schön, lieber Premierminister, lieber Benjamin. Im Namen der ganzen Regierung möchte ich mich ganz herzlich bedanken für den freundschaftlichen Empfang, den wir hier bei den 5. deutsch-israelischen Regierungskonsultationen erhalten haben. Wir hatten intensive Diskussionen mit dem neuen Bundeskabinett der Großen Koalition und fast alle Minister aus unserem Kabinett sind dabei gewesen, sodass wir wirklich eine breite Diskussion auch hatten. Für uns von deutscher Seite ist dieses Treffen deshalb besonders wichtig, weil wir auch die 50 Jahre diplomatische Beziehungen mit dem Staat Israel vorbereiten und damit natürlich noch einmal zurückdenken, welches Glück es für uns ist, dass wir heute über die gesamte Breite unserer gesellschaftlichen Gemeinsamkeiten sprechen können und trotzdem natürlich der Vergangenheit immer wieder auch gedenken. In dem Zusammenhang ist es sehr wichtig, dass wir als Regierung hier sagen konnten, dass wir jetzt sehr schnell eine Lösung für die noch ausstehenden Ghetto-Rentenzahlungen haben werden. Das ist auch mit dem Deutschen Bundestag besprochen und ich glaube, dass wir hier an dieser Stelle für die wirklich sehr betagten Menschen eine schnelle Lösung finden können und viele haben darauf gewartet. Wir haben
Bundeskanzlerin Merkel, Herr Netanyahu hat es angesprochen, auch in seiner Stellungnahme. Sollte denn die Forderung Israel...
תודה. שאלת מתי יגיע השלום. אני מקווה שבמהרה בימינו, כמו שאנחנו נוהגים לומר, אבל יש דרך אחת פתוחה לעכב אותו, וזה על ידי הניסיונות הללו להחרים את מדינת ישראל. זה מבטיח שנרחיק את השלום, משום שזה, שוב, זה מקשיח את העמדות הפלסטיניות, ואומר לך יותר מזה, זה מקשיח את העמדות שלנו. אנחנו, העם היהודי, שעברנו חרמות, כולל במאה הקודמת, אנחנו לא מוכנים לספוג את ההתמקדות הזאת ואת העוינות הזאת, ובדרך כלל התגובה היא גם של הקשחה של העמדה שלנו, ויותר מזה, ישראל מיד תפנה לשווקים אחרים, למדינות אחרות, שחפצות בטכנולוגיה שלנו, ולכן אין פה לא צד מוסרי ולא צד מעשי שהוא מוצדק. לא מוצדק מבחינה מוסרית להחרים את ישראל, הדמוקרטיה היחידה במזרח התיכון, שנאבקת במצבים קשים מאוד. כמה מדינות אתה מכיר שהורידו עליהם עשרות אלפי טילים? עשרות אלפי טילים, ועדיין אנחנו נלחמים ומחפשים לפגוע במשגר הטילים האחד. עלינו עושים חרמות? כן, יש לנו ויכוח, יש לנו מאבק על שטח המולדת שלנו, שאנחנו קשורים אליה 4,000 שנה, ואנחנו מנסים לפתור את הבעיה שיש עוד עם שנמצא במולדת ההיסטורית שלנו. אנחנו מנסים לפתור את הסכסוך הזה בדרך, אני חושב, הכי הכי מוסרית והכי מאופקת מכל המדינות בעולם שאינן מאוימות כמונו. וזה קשה, זה לא קל. עלינו מטילים חרמות? על העם היהודי, על המדינה של העם היהודי? לא, זה לא מוסרי וזה גם לא פרודוקטיבי, ואני מקווה שהדבר הזה לא יקרה. אבל ככל שזה יקרה, זה ירחיק את השלום. ככל שזה לא יקרה, זה יקרב את השלום. אנחנו רוצים את השלום מהר, מהר. אבל אנחנו רוצים שלום אמיתי, ואני מקווה שגם השותפים שלנו רוצים את זה. אם הם רוצים את זה, אנחנו נשיג את זה.
Auf den Kontrollprozess, der uns sicherstellt, dass die Entwicklungen nicht weitergetrieben werden, dann würde ich zumindest mit einem solchen Ergebnis zum Premierminister wieder zurückkommen und dafür kämpfen, dass...
In the course of this news conference, you spoke about taking care of the forced workers and the ghetto workers. This is something that has not been dealt with since the Holocaust, and it's symbolic and also meaningful for many thousands of people who are still recovering from that horror. But the fact that you are working with your government and with your parliament to redress this is something of deep significance, historical and emotional for us, and I want to thank you for it.